Hello, I'm Graham, and you're listening to Airtime Central. Today, we're going to talk about three things. One, a highly anticipated land has been delayed yet again. Two, my review of the Cedar Point haunt. And three, a look into the Valley of Mora as we explore what is the Pandora World of Avatar at Animal Kingdom. So let's dive in this episode of Airtime Central. Hey everyone, Graham here. This is Airtime Central. So let's start things off with a bit of a bang, and we're going to talk about the delay of Super Mario Land at Universal Studios Japan. Now, Super Mario World or Land, whatever you want to call it, has been heavily anticipated for quite a few years now. It is going to Universal Studios Japan, I believe Universal Studios Hollywood, and Epic Universe, which has been delayed inevitably yet again. So let's get into this news. This has been in the works for quite a few years, and we were highly anticipated for it to open this year. But it has been delayed. Now, this is supposed to feature at least two attractions, perhaps three, depending on what variation of the land it is. A mine car coaster, which is supposed to be a cantilever style roller coaster, the first of its kind. Two, a Mario Kart attraction. And three, a Yoshi attraction. Now, all three of these have descriptions and information about them so far out of what's the word? Information from images and files and stuff. So there's quite a bit of information out there about these rides. And if you want me to do a full thing about all of them, please let me know. But what we know now is that the Yoshi ride will be a ride where you're actually riding on Yoshi, and you venture through magical Mario Place, however you want to say that. Um, and the Mario Kart ride, well, we don't really know much about it. I expect it will probably be something. It's either going to probably be like test track or perhaps a trackless ride where you do interact with stuff with screens, and I think that's gonna be pretty cool. And then the cantilever ride is what I am most looking forward to, probably, because it is a roller coaster where you're on a track that isn't actually the track. You actually think the Spider-Man ride vehicle or Transformers, kind of like that, where you're riding above the ground, but it feels like you're on the ground. Think that, but a roller coaster. It's going to be pretty interesting. Now, this has been delayed, and this is not much news, but it is big news. So let's move on to our next longer segment, my review of the Cedar Point haunt. Now, I am not the type of person that likes haunted houses or stuff, but I do like scare zones. I've been to a couple of scare zones. I did Kings Island and I did Cedar Point. I did all the scare zones there. Now, at Cedar Fair Parks, they do sell what is called a no-boo necklace, which is basically a light-up ghost thing. It's like $8 or so, and you light it up, and it tells the scare actors that you don't want to be scared and to just stay away from you or not jump scare you. Now, I experienced the scare zones with and without that on because I decided, okay, I'm not crazy on these, so I'm just going to try it with the Nobu necklace on and then see if I want to do it without it. So I went through all the scare zones with the necklace on, and I really liked the theming. I really liked the costume design, and it was really funny to see people getting scared. And so I went to the King Island one first, and that night I did not take the necklace off because I was a little bit too scared because some of the scares there are really good. Then I went to the Cedar Point one, and so the Cedar Point one is basically it's all of the Frontier Trail, which is this big walkthrough thing, awesome, and the area around Steel Vengeance and Maverick has been transformed into big separate scare zones. It's kind of continuous though. It is such good theming, and it was just amazing to walk through. And when I was there, because I was there at night, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try the Maverick Cedar Point, the Maverick and Steel Vengeance Scare Zone, which is basically all sorts of cowboy theming with like skeletons. And I tried it without the Nobu necklace on. I got quite a few good scares, and I actually really liked it. So when I went to Kings Island next for haunt, because I went there again, I tried it without the necklace on, and it was good. I did not get as much scares as I did in the Cedar Point one. However, there's one scare zone in each park that I kind of stayed away from when it didn't have the necklace on, which is I think it was Rivertown Reaping, which is really is like a bunch of people in plague masks running around, and it's just kind of creepy. And then I forget what the other one it was called, Cedar Point, but there was one where these people. Have you ever seen Batman, the Batman Begins movie from Christopher Nolan? Think the Scarecrow mask. It was a lot of people wearing that kind of mask, and it was really creepy, but it was fun. So I'm mainly talking about the Cedar Point one. I think next episode, if there's nothing really informative or opinion I could talk about, I will probably talk about Kings Island. I'm gonna change this background because it's a good background. I want to get copyrighted. Boom, perfect. Actually, no, that's better. Okay, so so I loved walking down the Frontier Trail, which had what would you say? A lot of cowboy western theming to it. It was really fun. This background isn't working. My headphones look so weird right now. I don't actually need the headphones on right now because I'm just recording. So my full review of the Cedar Point one is I think I like the Cedar Point one. I liked the Cedar Point and Kings Island one for different reasons, but I think I like Cedar Point better. Just a little, well, the scare zones. When it comes to parks, I probably like Cedar Point better, and with the scare zones. So it was different. The theming kind of changed as we went along, but it was really just a continuous Western theme. My favorite part was by far the area near Maverick. Had such good scares because it's a small space. It's not big. And when you have like fog and mist and like Maverick in the background, it is just so cool. So I went there when it was pretty dark because that's when the hunt started. They've started around 8:30 or 9:30 depending on where you are and what day it is. When I went, it started around 8 to 9 or so. So just be prepared. I don't know. Well, be prepared for that if hunts happen this year or next year. So I guess I can't drag it out as long as I thought I could. But the next thing I'll be able to drag it out a little bit longer. This might be one of those smaller episodes again, but I'm sure you guys are okay with it. So, oh, and by the way, my videos are available in YouTube format or in podcast format. You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all sorts of places. I will eventually be leaving links on my website to all those places, but the website still is a work in progress. So yeah, just something to look forward to. And I will be recording footage if so I've heard a lot of encouraging things about Kings Island. I've heard that pretty much everyone's wearing a mask. There's like no one there, and the lines are pretty much the same. That's because they're running like half quarter capacity or so. So I'm somewhat confident that I will be able to go on Friday. So that's gonna be fun because we managed to get these tickets for passholder previews, and I'm really excited if we wanted to go. I will be filming off-ride footage of Orion that I will be posting. I will also be filming a somewhat vlog there if I do go. And I will be I might actually record a quick podcast segment there, just to like leave as a quick thing, which will be fun. So you'll be able to see, and I'll probably write out something for the blog about it. So I'm planning to get quite a bit of content there. So moving on to our next segment. Final segment, actually. Unfortunately, it's going too quick. How long have I been recording for? It won't tell me. Fantastic. I don't know. So this is going to be a shorter episode, but this one might be able to give us a little bit more information. So, I don't know if you, one of probably my second favorite theme park land I've ever visited, second to Harry Potter. Actually, I think this is my favorite theme park land ever that I've been to. Keep in mind, I've not been to Galaxy's Edge or pretty much anywhere in California. So, I am, of course, talking about Pandora World of Avatar, set in the Valley of Moara. This is just one of the most breathtaking theme park lanes you'll ever walk in. I was able to go for pass holder previews. We managed to get tickets for it to Pandora World of Avatar. And I guess if I had known that Flight of Passage would have a consistent 3-hour wait after when it opened, I would have ridden it more. But I got 3 rides on Flight of Passage, one ride on the Navi River journey, and then I was able to try some of the food there. First impressions of the place were insanely beautiful. You walk in, it's just one of the most just gorgeous views you'll ever get in your life. You have just floating mountains, waterfalls everywhere. Fun fact, one of the waterfalls is a truck tire. Um, it's the most farther away. Someone used an insane film camera. I forget what it was, but they were able to zoom in on it, and it's literally just a moving tire. It's hilarious. But it looks beautiful, so I don't care. So of course there are 2 attractions, 2 places to get food, and then just a bunch of interactive stuff around the land. I have visited there several times over the course of 2 or 3 years it's been open. I used to live near Disney, so I was able to not anymore, but I used to live near Disney, so I was able to go there quite a bit. I'm very thankful for that. And it's just nothing can really match what I first experienced there because there was almost no one there. It was just maybe less than 1,000 people there with us, and most of the people just run to Flight of Passage in the morning. Quick tip: if you are not afraid of staying late at Animal Kingdom, get in line for Flight of Passage right as the park closes, and they'll let you ride. They'll be there like 2 hours after park closing, but it's fun. And makes you wonder how they do the maintenance on it because it's just people. Well, I'm guessing it's probably something. Well, for a while it might have actually been kind of like Hagrid, where people were waiting to get on Hagrid's Kind of Creature Mudbike Adventure until like 1 in the morning, and the park would still have to be open. Well, it would have to be closed, but they'd have to still have people there, so you couldn't have like maintenance people out. So they would literally have to wait until like noon to open Hagrid, which is insane. Because they have to get a required hours of maintenance on it. This is going to be a really short episode, I'm sorry. But let's get into a mini review of everything there. So let's start out with some of the restaurants. There are 2 restaurants. There is the canteen. What's it called? I forget. There's a canteen and there's like a bar area. So these are both located right by a Flight of Passage, and they both are just amazing. Now, I was able to try the pineapple roll at the, let me look this up. Technical things. Pandora restaurants. I am not great at doing my research. Oh, there we go. Pandora. So the Satui Canteen. And then there's, what's the other one? So Satui Canteen. And then it's kind of like, so the idea is that it's the former RDA canteen. And then there's Pongu Pongu, which is the drink. That's the stand, right? I don't know if that's one of the drinks or if it's the stand. So it's Pongu Pongu. So it's Pongu Pongu, and then the Satui Canteen. Satui Canteen has one of the best theme park foods I've ever tasted. The hamburger pods or whatever they're called, just so delicious. So it's this giant, beautiful, like kind of pastry of dough with meat and cheese inside, and it is they offer them for kids meals and adult meals. You get like 2 or 3 for the adult and 1 or 2 for the kid, and it's just so good. And you get these really good like multicolored chips with it, and they also offer a sort of coleslaw, which is also very good. And then there's also a bunch of other dishes, like the meatball with salad. There's just a bunch of different dishes there, and that's gonna be your counter service restaurant, and definitely the better of the 2. They're both good for different reasons, but this is where this is your real restaurant in Pandora. Now there's a drink stand called Pongu Pongu, which offers a bunch of different alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. There's one drink there that is, I'm gonna open up the menu for it quickly. So I was able to try the for the food. I tried the Pongu Lumpia, which is a pineapple cream cheese spring roll. Not my favorite, but it was pretty good. Now they do have they have quite a bit of alcoholic beverages, but the non-alcoholic beverage they have is called the Night Blossom, and it is so good. So it's I'm reading it right here. It's apple and desert pear limeade topped with passion fruit boba balls. It's just it's um I think it tastes exactly what it sounds like, and then um it's like how do I describe it? It's like a better version of a slushy. It is so good. When I move my hand, you can kind of see my cat napping behind me right there. So I highly recommend the Night Blossom. Of course, I haven't tried the alcoholic beverages, but I'm sure a lot of people will like those. And it's really I'm pretty sure that's the one located right behind the giant mechanical suit. I'm pretty sure it's located right by that, and it's very good. So I'd highly recommend both of those places for food and beverages. Now to the two attractions. Let's start out with the smaller of the two, which is Navi River Journey. Now, this ride is really good, but it lacks a storyline, which is I love rides with really good storylines, which is the reason why I'm not a big fan of rides such as Transformers or I do like this ride, but I wish it had more of a storyline because you as you're going through the queues, it's like you're winding through all these like wicker arts and things made by the Navi, which is really cool. I mean, it definitely fits the movie. I'm a big fan of the movie. Um, and then you also so it starts out you go like you're going through this like nice beautiful like river cave, and you see this Navi guy, which I thought was a very bad animatronic at first, and then I realized it's not an animatronic, it's a stationary guy with a projected face. The best part of the ride is at the very end though. So you start out and you emerge from the cave into this beautiful like kind of Navi forest at night, and you have all these bioluminescent plants and stuff, and it's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful ride. Same with this whole land is beautiful. And at the end, you encounter the Shaman of Songs, best animatronic I've ever seen by far. So I believe this was one of the first A1000s, because they'd up until this point they'd only done A100s, and then I think that I think that this and Hondo were the first A1000s done by Disney. And I've seen videos of Hondo, which I regret because I wish I could just experience it when I eventually go to Galaxy's Edge, but that's not going to be for a while now. So I have seen video of Hondo, and both the animatronics are amazing. The movement is so fluid, and that the animatronic is just huge. It's way taller than me. And when the animatronic needs maintenance, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's so the animatronic it's so big that you can't really move it, so they kind of just have it like it's kind of on like an elevator system where it just moves down into a maintenance bay, and then a screen will come up and replace it, and it's not as cool, but it's something. Um, so that's really all I have to say about the ride. It's good, but it lacks a storyline. Now on to one of my favorite theme park attractions ever. I think it's just called Flight of Passage. Yeah, Navi Flight of Passage or something like that. Oh my gosh, this is one of the best rides ever. I don't know why, because it's just a screen, but it takes what Soarin' does and it just does it a million times better. Because there's a lot more movement. You're seating like these kind of pod things that can it's like 3 degrees of movement or something. And it really does feel like you connected to an avatar. And so the seat is so the right okay. The queue is one of the best queues out there because it tells the story perfectly. And one thing I've noticed is because I've ridden this ride probably about 10 times, and I've noticed that the pre-show changes to fit how long it how long it needs to be. So there are a couple of different layers to it. You have the scientist guy in the first pre-show, and and he's like saying, okay, you're gonna do this flying thing. That's the worst description ever, but and then you board the vehicle. Well, not yet. So there's a screen in front of you, and they get about 10 to 13 people or something like that into the room. And you stand in these numbers, and the things will light up on the screen and tell you if someone's standing there. And then they have like this. So there's a couple different layers to it. One is the Navi parasite disinfectant thing. It sounds so weird. So he'll be like, okay, we just before you go into the next room, we need to scan you for Navi parasites. It's just a thing we need to do to make sure you're safe. And of course, you have them. And then he does like this disinfectant thing, and then you move into the next room. That does not happen every time. My theory is that the pre-show is done in a way where it's split into multiple parts, and they use the parts needed to tell the story and get the capacity going. Because I'd say the pre-show is about 10 to 20 minutes long, whenever. If they want to get people going to that thing, if they're like, hey, the thing's open, you need to get these people moving, they'll take out the bug part, or they'll take out the link part. No, that part's necessary. They'll take out the bug part or something else. And I've had times where this thing takes like 20 minutes. I've also had times where the thing like takes 8 minutes. So it really does vary. Moving to the next room, then you have Sigourney Weaver, who did she die? I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything about the movie, but I think her character. No, I forget what happened, but she's back. I don't know if she died in the movie. I forget, but she's back, and she talks about writing stuff about the Banshees, and I think of the inverted King's Island whenever I hear Banshee, but or the Iklan, which is the Navi name for it. And she talks about them, and then she's like, you're going to get to experience this Navi rite of passage. And I forget what it's called. Honestly, I know a couple of the Navi words from it, but I kind of forget them sometimes. I know Sivako, which is the Rise to the Challenge thing. And so, I know because someone in like a random Navi in the ride just shouts Sivako, and so it's nice that they like link those things into the storyline. It's kind of like it's really like Galaxy's Edge in the sense that there's like a language kind of that you learn throughout the thing. Like you say like bright suns to be like hello in Galaxy's Edge, and then like there's the what was the resistance line? It's like light the fire, ignite the spark. It's like light the spark, ignite the fire, or something like that. And that's like the resistance greeting. And so there's a few things that I wish that this land had. I really wish they did Navi meet and greets. But I understand how that'd be hard to do. It'd either have to be an animatronic, or they could do something like the Transformers, or there's a couple other ways they could do it. But it'd be difficult because the Navi, they're probably as tall as my ceiling here, and so I'm standing up, which I'm about I'm like 5'8" or something standing up, or like 5'7", and if I stand up, they're probably about twice as tall as me, so that's they're probably about 12 feet taller. So, but that'd be hard to do. But I wish there was a meet and greet, and then I wish there was a little bit more interactivity in the land. It's really cool. Like there's like drums you can do and stuff like that. But that's kind of regular for Disney parks. But I wish there was a little more interactivity, and I wish there was more meet and greets. And then they have the robot guy, but that's the only one. So that's gonna do it for this podcast. Check out the website if you want. Check out my podcast. Be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Soon I will get footage of Orion or Kings Island up on there. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.